You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Pathologist says Trump made big mistake that exposes signs of dementia. Video, based on an article by Thomas Kika. The real story is not Trump's decline. It's the machine that keeps him upright. Donald Trump's appearance on Usha Vance's web series gave a speech-language pathologist fresh material to argue that his speech, grip, and movement show signs of dementia and decline. The clip, the awkward book handling, and the strange JFK remark are the surface details. The political fact underneath is simpler. A presidency this consequential is being mediated through people around him who profit from pretending capacity is still the issue. Capacity is not power. The article fixates on Trump's body and speech, but that is not where institutional power lives. Power sits with the people who keep placing him in front of a camera, arranging the set, editing the image, and pretending the performance is governance. Usha Vance's platform is not incidental here. It is part of the apparatus that normalizes a degrading president by presenting him as content. That is the central misdirection in stories like this. They convert a political crisis into a clinical curiosity. The question is not whether Trump looked impaired in a slowed-down clip. The question is why an entire governing ecosystem continues to stage him as if the country is supposed to confuse visibility with competence. The enablers are not bystanders. Trump did not appear on that show by accident. Someone invited him. Someone approved the format. Someone understood that the appearance would generate viral clips and a haze of commentary about his condition instead of a harder accounting of the people keeping him politically functional. That is the enabling structure. It includes the family-adjacent media personalities, the loyalists who absorb the humiliation, and the party network that treats his deterioration as a manageable branding issue. The system is not trying to hide the decline, it is trying to make the decline feel ordinary. Medicalization is political evasion. The pathologist's critique may be professionally informed, but the broader discourse around Trump's cognitive state can become its own form of evasion. It keeps the audience staring at symptoms while the cause remains untouched. A man can be diminished and still dangerous. A weakened leader can still be used as a vessel for hard-right power. That matters because the authoritarian project does not depend on Trump's perfect functioning. It depends on his usefulness. If he can still be placed in front of a book, still produce a spectacle, still absorb attention, then the network around him gets to keep laundering power through personality collapse. The press loves a body story more than a power story. The framing here is weak because it treats visible awkwardness as the main event. That is cheaper than following power. It is easier to count awkward grips and mangled words than to ask who is making decisions, who is benefiting, and which institutions are accommodating an obviously degraded political brand. This is how elite media often fails upward. It reports the theater of decline while leaving the machinery intact. The public gets a loop of clips, pundit reactions, and pseudo-medical commentary. What it does not get is a serious accounting of the political coalition willing to keep governing through spectacle, denial, and loyalist cover. Rot is the system. This is not a story about one man getting older. It is a story about a political movement that has fused personal decay with institutional loyalty and called it leadership. The real scandal is not that Trump looked diminished on camera. The scandal is that powerful people around him continue to build a state around the premise that his decline is just another production problem. That is the larger pattern. Authoritarian politics does not require vitality, only compliance around the figurehead. When the public is encouraged to treat decay as the whole story, the people actually running the operation disappear into the background. That is where the danger lies, and where the accountability should start. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Sam, thanks for listening.